I think, the kind of things we've been hearing, particularly about that real concern about, and I'm paraphrasing here, social stability, the stability of capitalism, not put on the agenda by me, but by others on this panel. And I think that's worth reflecting on, given the confidence certainly there is in Asia at the moment. Let me introduce, as well as the chairman again, Khaldoon Khalifa Al Mubarak, welcome, who is chairman, chief executive and managing director of Mubadala, the investment company in the UAE. Welcome. Mukesh Ambani, who's chairman and managing director of Reliance, I should say, and Resilient Reliance in India. Plus Kirill Dmitriev, chief executive of the Russian Direct Investment Fund. Welcome, Kirill. Let me pick up that first question which I gave to the other panelists about, is this a time of heightened uncertainty? Do you disagree with anything you've heard about the level of uncertainty? Because Mukesh, you come from India. I flew in from Mumbai yesterday. There's a palpable sense of the growth rate going down from 8% to 5%, of nervousness. Diwali, everyone's celebrating Diwali, but a nervousness that actually the great Indian success story is beginning to come a bit unbuckled, not least because of what's happening with unsecured loans, $200 billion worth, plus what's happening in the banking sector.
Well, I think that if you go to the theme of uncertainty, and let me first comment on the global picture. I think that I agree with the other panelists that the world is transiting with the introduction of new technologies, and this is the first time that we've got simultaneously 4 or 5 new technologies combined with digital that are really transforming the global economy. And this is, while it brings in uncertainty, I think it brings in tremendous opportunity, an opportunity that has never been seen by humanity before, to seize that opportunity and to transform the world is the way I see it. And what I really see in this country, and I have been coming to Saudi Arabia for the last 20 years, but what I see happening, particularly in the last 2 or 3 years, is transformation. For me, this is like the 1980 event in China or the 1990s opening up of India, where India really came up on the world map, and with the clear articulation of Vision 2030, the acceptance and acceleration in terms of just the ambition of the vision to transform this economy and to play the leadership role, right? As a businessman and as an investor, I am all in terms of investing in this country before everybody else does. So yes, uncertainty, but to my mind, a great opportunity. Coming to India, right? I think that between the two countries, there are really 3 major factors, and we've all talked about it. One is what I call the technology accelerator, and India and Saudi Arabia both can take advantage of that. The second is the demographic accelerator. Remember that India is a country with 65% of its population as young, and so is Saudi Arabia. So both have the demographic accelerator. And above all, there is the leadership accelerator. Both our countries are blessed with leadership that is unique in the world, at least in today's time. And if you look at what's happened, yes, there has been a slight slowdown, but my own view is it's temporary. All the reform measures that have been taken in the last few months will see outcome, and I am quite sure that in the coming quarters this will reverse.
We'll hear, of course, directly from the Prime Minister himself from India this evening. Both of you, in fact, the redefinition of risk or the refining of risk, if there is this level of uncertainty.
Well, I think that for businesses, the critical outcome is how do you serve the markets and how do you serve citizens in your own market. As long as businesses are in this age of transition, serving the people correctly, right? You have optimal risk, and the definition of risk is, are you really, at least from my point of view as a business, is are you creating more societal value? Are you contributing to a better society tomorrow? And that's the best way of de-risking.
But let me just pick up what John Waldron was saying, which is widely warned about these days. And you're beginning to see it significantly in India, that the next generation builds on the findings of the FII Institute yesterday, talking about AI and the impact on jobs. Is if you're serving society, society expects good delivery of a better way of life, of better prospects and so on. And what you're beginning to see in India is real concern among those who are well qualified that they simply can't get jobs at the moment, which then creates a greater risk of instability. And I'm using that single noun in order to get over a point here. But do you see that as a real paradox and conflict here? It's all very well saying that you can redefine risk, but actually you've got to deliver.
Absolutely. And I think that, personally, I don't think that, if really, if we think about technology and execute technology, including AI and robotics and drones, right, they increase productivity. I agree with the earlier panel that they will increase jobs. And if we look at the last 200 years of technology, we've always had this fear that our jobs will go away. I think that human imagination will always find something to do. On your second point, I think that for India, we bring in 15 to 20 million youth into the economy. For us, our challenge is to skill and educate this youth to the needs of the economy. I think that if you look at the startups in India and if you look at the whole startup economy and what is happening in Tier 2, Tier 3, Tier 4 city, it's a completely different energy, and we will make progress in terms of making sure. In fact, I think that the youth of India are really the driving force and the reason that India will propel itself to the third largest economy in the world. So for me, that's not a risk, it's actually a huge, huge advantage. And yes, you will have some hiccups, but no road is absolutely smooth and straightforward. So when you take an outside-in view of India, look at it as a whole and not in bits and pieces that you sometimes pick up.
We look forward to hearing what the Prime Minister will say later. Khaldoon,